Do you know that a random WhatsApp message is connected to $1 billion human trafficking scam where people are exploited and are kept as captives to perform digital slavery? Do you think that's fiction? No, that's the reality we all are living in right now. Welcome to the world of pig butchery, where what you see and what you listen is not what it is. My name is Prashasth Baliga. I'm a senior cybersecurity leader from Singapore. I'm here today to expose the world of pig butchering and create an awareness of how you can secure yourself as well as your communities. First and foremost, before I get into what is this scam all about and is it related to some sort of a pig, I'll get into that later. But I want to explain to you how this scam unfolds step by step. As you can see in the image right now, I'm very sure you guys might have been receiving some sort of a random messages on WhatsApp these days, right? If you sit on the left-hand side, you might get a random message saying that, hey, I sent this message by mistake. Maybe we can be friends. You know what? If I'm a victim, possibly the odds are that I'll accept it and I'll start interacting. That's where it goes to the next stage. It's called grooming. It's about selling the dream. What happens is the scammer masquerading as your friend is going to send you fancy pictures of maybe amazing cars, maybe some beautiful villas, about a fancy vacation. You're tempted. You want to live the dream life. Of course, right? We all desire to have a very great lifestyle. Eventually, you'll start trusting it. And the scammer is going to tell you that, you know what? I've got a rich uncle who's actually a financial expert. We invest into crypto. Have you heard of crypto? Raise your hands, maybe. Right? We all have heard crypto. It's a great technology. But you know what? This is in the hands of these sort of scammers where they redirect you to a portal to invest money. And they're not going to tell you to invest a lot of money right away because they want to win your trust. And they're not going to tell you on the day one. It's going to take months or maybe a few days or months. They're going to slowly start telling you to invest bit by bit till they get to know your entire financial status. Initially, you'll possibly put $500, maybe 500 rupees. You'll start getting returns. Eventually, you'll keep increasing. You'll see the dashboard numbers going higher and higher. You are like, wow, I'm making profits. This is better than any S&P 500 stock. Maybe better than my Nvidia stock, right? We all get tempted for that. What happens later is, then comes the stage of escalation, right? They'll say that, hey, you know what? They're going to create an urgency for you. Saying that, hey, you know what? Today, there is a deal. In next 6 hours, if you invest 5 lakh rupees, if you invest $1 million, you're going to get a 50% increase. You are already trusting the website. You're already trusting this person. The chances are that you will definitely invest because you have been speaking to this person for the last few months, right? He's our friend. And then you invest. What happens? It says you can't withdraw the money. You need to pay more. Or the chances are the website just goes dead. Then you try to reach out to your friend, who's actually a scammer. Number blocked. That's the world we are living in. What happens after this is the victim uses his money more than the money. The victim is going to go through a psychological trauma because here the problem is it's just not about the financial, but it's also about trusting the people. So that's the world we are living in. It's called pig butchering. Now you might say that coming back to the pig butchering, where did it all start from? It started in 2016 in China. You might have all heard about online betting. Right? You all are putting our monies into online betting these days, right? It all started in 2016 in China where people were getting scammed in online betting and the word, it came called as Pan. It's a Chinese word called Pan. It basically means fattening the pig. And once you fatten it, you butcher the pig. That's what it is. The scammers gain your trust over the period of time and then they try to scam you. So after 2016, what happened? The Chinese government took it very seriously around 2019. They had massive crackdowns and they expelled these scammers out of the country. And do you know where they all went? They all went to these beautiful countries like, amazing, right? Siem Reap, one of the largest temples in the world, and Myanmar. They went to these places called as special economic zones where they were allowed to open casinos. They were allowed to open any sort of economic activity there because there was no lawlessness. There was no law and order. There was lack of governance. You know what they started doing? They opened casinos. They started scamming. Then comes the COVID-19. We all suffered through it. but we couldn't step out of our houses. That affected the scammers as well. You know what? Nobody were entering their casinos. As a result, their business model was shrinking. That's when they got the idea, the age-old method of using the phishing, the age-old method of like scamming people digitally, because we all were so digitally addicted during the COVID that we didn't step out, we didn't talk to people, we were all hooked up on our phones and we were vulnerable. We were isolated. We were feeling very depressed, and they played with the emotions of the people one at a time. They initially targeted only Chinese because that's what they knew. Then they realized, you know what, everybody's online these days. The entire world is our playground. Why not try something else? But they couldn't speak other languages as well, right? They needed people. So what they did, the worst possible thing, the human trafficking. They started, we all have seen these ads. They started to target university students, youngsters, educated people with these job fake ads, right? They started sending these targeted ads. Possibly, a lot of organizations collect the numbers, university databases. They all started getting access to these databases. They started sending these targeted ads. As a result, people thought, I'm getting 5x the amount of pay what I'm getting right now. I'm going to live the dream of going abroad. You know what? People started falling a trap for it. As a result, they got a legitimate visa. They were given interviews. They got a flight ticket. They moved to these countries. Like I mentioned, the special economic zones. As they moved, what happened next was a traumatizing factor. Their passports were snatched. It was confiscated, and they went through, the moment they entered those countries, they were going through a torture and exploitation. That's when they truly realized that they are fallen a part of a scam. And they were not aware what it was initially. And you know what? Just like a salesperson gets his quarterly quota, these people who were trafficked got their quarterly or biannual quota to scam people, to scam all of us, to scam all the people in the world through the digital slavery. As and when they started doing it because they didn't had the need to it, like they had no other option because they were convinced that the only way to get out of this is to reach the quota. But there's no way out for that because neither governments can do anything or anyone. I'll get into that later. But as the torture started to begin more and more into that, what happens was they will be put into something called as a scam compounds. I wanna take your attention to this. If you see on the left-hand side, this is a very famous park or KK Park in Myanmar. If you see there, initially the Google Earth image, right? There's nothing out there. It's just a plain field farm. And now see, just 2 years, it is filled with a lot of IT centers. It's like a proper software engineering company, an IT technology company where people like you, like me, are all scammed and been put into those compounds, guarded by people having ammunitions to make sure that you don't get out of it. And do you know what is the number of people who are currently stuck? As per the latest reports on United States Institute of Peace, there are around 300,000 people who are currently stuck. That is basically 3 lakh people. You might be thinking that for the online people there, that it is might be just from India or from Pakistan or South Asian countries. No. These are the people scammed all across the world who have been trafficked to get into these scam compounds to commit digital slavery. So if you think that it's only going to happen in some part of Asian countries who are looking for jobs, no, it's happening in Netherlands. It's happening all the way from Brazil. Think about it. Them going all the way to the other side of the continent to get people. And now imagine they have access to the entire world. That is the state we are living in. That is something which is very, very horrific. And you might ask me, who's the target of it? Is it only like people like us? Everyone is a target. You, everyone. Everyone's starting there, including me. If you're not a target today, you might be a target tomorrow. So be careful. And you might say that, hey, you know what? I'm just a local. Maybe it's only me. I'm stupid. A CEO of a bank in US, in Kansas State, ended up putting $45 million of his investors in a scam, in a pig butchering scam. You know what? He's a smart guy. A famous actor in China was part of the human trafficking scam. He got into that. Why? Are they not smart? They are. The technology is getting so advanced that you might have all have heard of this new concept. Not a new concept, but you might have heard this thing called as a deep fake. How many of you have heard deep fakes? I'm sure you might have all heard of it, right? And you know what? This is a synthetic media which is being generated in the form of like images, videos, or even your audio through advanced deep learning algorithms, which is easily accessible by every one of us, right? We already saw the songs being played using AI. Like a lot of amazing things happen through AI, but at the same time, these technologies are getting into the hands of these scammers and these adversaries. I'll give you an incident. I'm a huge fan of Brad Pitt. I loved the movie F1, amazing. And you know what? There was a lady in France, an interior designer in her late 50s, who was going through a divorce situation. And one fine day, she gets a message on Instagram from Brad Pitt's mother. Amazing, isn't it? Brad Pitt's mother was looking for a guru, like a wife for Brad Pitt. She said that, hey, you know what? My son is going through a divorce. I think you can be a good wife for him. She started trusting. And guess what? Brad Pitt started calling this lady.
No jump at all.
Guess what? Who was the actual Brad Pitt? It was not the actual Brad Pitt. It was a deepfake Brad Pitt, where he started calling from hospital. He started calling from sending photographs and saying that I need money right now to perform an operation. And this lady ended up sending $850,000, maybe 78 crore rupees. And you know how she got to know about it later? Brad Pitt started hanging out with his new girlfriend. And that's when she got to know that she got scammed. Well, is there anything we can do about it? What is the impact out of all these things, if you might ask? Of course, the first one is, of course, the economic impact. I'm sure there's like governments or the financial advisors here as well can think through it. It's a $75 billion market cap. This is like a proper full-fledged company with a 40% year-on-year growth. Can you believe it? It's a 40%. It's a very disruptive market for them. And what else? What else is happening? I'm sure we have a lot of our parents, grandparents who are retired, who are living on their retirement funds. They are being targeted because of their isolation, because of the digital transformation. Nobody's talking to them. As a result, they get scammed. They lose their retirement funds. A lot of suicides are being committed through this. And the worst part is, these are not even reported because of shame. Because people will judge that we are stupid. Why? Because we all do that. When our friend says that I got scammed, it's like, hey, are you stupid? How come you did that? As a result, people don't report it. And even another impact is the city's image gets tarnished. The economy, the legitimate economy goes for a toss. So if you would ask me, what is the final thing we can do about it, right? Like if all these things happens, what is the final thing? Where is our society headed? It's the erosion of trust in our society. Nobody's going to trust each other. Nobody's going to believe that what I see, this person might not even be a reality. That's the world we are living in, right? This is where our society might lead into. And the final thing is what else is, why can't we stop it? If we know everything about the scam, why can't we just stop it, right? The reason is it's a multi-layered pyramid. It's not as easy as we can think. Because the people who might be reaching out to you might just be a pawn in this whole game. There are several layers, and it's very difficult to track up to the top layer. The actual kingpins might be sitting somewhere else in some part of the world. You might not even be able to reach out to them. And along with that, it's something beyond the borders. When I say that, right, a country can only have within its jurisdiction. Beyond that, it's going to be tough. So, and even the tracing of crypto, right, it gets tough. As and when these things happen, no matter how much we try to do it, it's going to go beyond our control. So what can we do about it? Is there no hope? There is. The hope is we are all stronger together. Today, I want to call an action that when you sit at your dining table with your family, with your friends, after this talk, go out there, discuss with your friends. How can you make yourself digitally aware? How can you keep yourself digitally secure? A call for teachers is how can you make your students be aware of all these things happening, right? A call for our senior citizens. How can you not get into these sort of things? At the same time, my fellow engineers, maybe if there's someone here, we are all using AI. We are vibe coding these days, right? Bring out your technological capabilities. Develop deep fake detection algorithms. At the same time, maybe somebody wants to be a lawyer or somebody wants to be a journalist. Keep the big tech companies accountable because they need to be kept in check. If you don't do it, nobody's going to do it. For the government here, what I want to advise is we need to come together. We need to build in policies. We need to build regulations to protect the people. And for the people in law enforcement, police, Interpol, there is a responsibility. We need to treat these cases with empathy. We all need empathy. We need to take it with the utmost sensitivity because if we don't do it, nobody's going to report it. And what I spoke about, $75 billion, it is the reported one. Just imagine the underreported ones, right? So finally, what I want to take from this is it's a battle between the truth and lies. We are losing at the moment, but I'm confident. As we say in India, Satyameva Jayate, truth alone trumps. We will win. And I want to say that security is nothing without you. So take a pledge today. This is serious. I want every one of you to be aware of this and take action about it. And I'm thankful for this opportunity.